Jom! Bam! Hello. I'm bored. Once again, I don't need these headphones. These headphones are in the way. But I have realised, and had to redo some audio earlier, this happens when I'm recording audio. Which is the sound of my bit. I'm not... You can't actually hear it, can you? Basically, when I'm recording for videos, it just picks up the sound of my beard and it sounds like static constantly. So I'm gonna shave a little more. Also, if I don't shave my mustache to a certain degree, I can't use FOIP. I just can't use it. It just thinks my lips. Not here, not here, but here. Here's my lips. It's a what? No one has lips like a must. Well, apparently I do. But how's everyone doing? Everyone's okay. We did. I couldn't be asked to change the title because we're talking about the same stuff. Okay. Have I still got intro music on the background? I have. Pedro, stop your music. I love it though. It's beautiful. There's a Majesty of Space, that one. Look. Okay, it's not a blast from the past. Well, maybe it is. Depends when you're watching it. Good job on being first. One. I'm not very good with names. There's just a way that I can't read it properly. It's not the morning for me. It's 3 p.m. for me. So I spent my morning today recording the moons around Hurston. Actually landing on there, flying around there. Just going, oh. The issue I have with the moons is they're quite boring. Now, it's because there's nothing there really at the moment. There are no missions properly hooked up yet. A load of the points of interest aren't actually there. I'm not sure if they've sunk into the ground or they just haven't all been placed or whatever. There's a couple of the moons cool. They've got interesting little features. A couple of them quite boring, and I mean like color pattern looks. I mean, they're all just basically barren at the moment. Yeah, so I did that for a good few hours. I think about 2.5, 3 hours. And it's because Hurston has much more diversity on it that it's spoilt my eyes. And like Louisville at night now, Louisville in the day, I go, puh, yeah, sitting here during the day, I'm gonna wait for night time. The Louisville at night looks amazing now. And the latest 3.35F patch from me, the PTU patch, which is open to everyone now. Everyone with a game package can now download the PTU. It's wave 5, and that means all backers. I suppose I haven't even tried to play it without a game package. I assume you wouldn't have a ship though. Surely you need a game package. I will double check that. Pretty sure you do. Someone's just giving me money. I like money. Right. Live. Why doesn't it show? Wait. Thank you for your wit and wisdom. Simon, thank you for your money. Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. I mean, I have a reasonable amount of wit. And I'm wise on many things. No, that doesn't sound modest at all, does it? But I just, I think I prove that anyone can do YouTube, and there's room in the market.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Whoop whoop.
Thank you very much, Mr. Binks. Very much appreciated for the sub. At some point, we will do some form of sub rally. That doesn't sound right either. But you know what I mean. People do those subby things, and I want to diversify for the future because things like Article 13 and Article 11 do worry me for the future of content creation on YouTube. Because basically, what this is it's stuff that was voted on a little while ago, and now the EU are trying to work out how to implement it. Is restrictions and methods for
tricksy little hobbitses,
IPs and protection of fair use and stuff like that in the modern age. And really, the problem is that is quite a broad thing and could force YouTube in the future to basically, at time of upload, prevent anything from being uploaded because it's because you can't prove that you've got the correct rights for it. And this could be music that you own in a video. This could be gameplay footage. This could be clips of someone else's work that you've used with fair use, totally with fair use in mind, to represent or show a point or educational purposes or whatever. Basically, it could destroy content creation as we know it. And I'm very pro. You need to adapt and you need to play the system in an ever-changing world. However, this is sort of like something you can fight against to a certain degree. So I will be talking about more of that in the future. And there's lots of YouTube videos actually from YouTube I saw talking about it, saying, look, we need to probably fight for our rights here because it affects Europe for the most part, but it will also affect anyone that's trying to consume content from Europe. Yeah, it just puts the burden of YouTube need to, at point of upload, prevent anything that infringes copyright or in such a broad way that means that you might not be able to upload any content. It's the worry. That's like the nightmare scenario. I'll talk about it more in a bit more detail and explain it a bit more because the moments in my head sort of like explaining from a point of view that I really understand, and I need to explain it in steps to people, but so that you're on the same page as me. But it's something that people should research themselves and make their own decision.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
There's other opinions other than mine. Thank you very much. Galfire Live, Galfree Live, Galfree. Community is a huge part of Star Citizen. Would CIG consider telling YouTube to relax on the whole copyright thing? Johnny, I suspect. So at the moment, for content creation, there's actually a page explaining what RSI's, CIG's, or Star Citizen's content creation rules are, and basically you can use any of their music and video and that sort of stuff kind of freely for Star Citizen videos. However, they can revoke those rights at any time. So that basically gives you free rights to use that. However, the problem is that if YouTube implement some form of automated system to pre-check things, it will just flag everything. That's the worry. It will just flag everything because, no, bad, you can't upload this. So loads of people's channels will go down, and loads of people get falsely flagged, and people that make money from ad revenue like I do, or whatever, from views on YouTube, it could drastically affect. But as I said, we'll learn more as it goes on. The European Union and Parliament are working out how to implement these, as well as all the European countries. And then there's going to be more votes and stuff in the future as well. So we'll just kind of keep a watchful gaze on it, and then react to it the best we can. And I'll inform people and tell them that it's my opinion based on certain things I'd like people to do or how it affects me. But I'm sure there's other points of view that aren't totally against it like I am. Maybe I'm stuck in my ways. Maybe there is a reason to change some of the rules of the way the internet works. because we are in an ever-evolving age. However, I'm extremely pro-freedom and exchange of information, and anything that sort of like gets in the way of that is quite abhorrent to me. But more as we know more on that. Should I wait for 3.35 to go live or jump into the PTU now? Daniel, it's going to go live pretty damn soon, in my opinion. I think by Friday. If you've got a really fast internet connection, you can download it easily. Do it. Why not jump in now? If not, then it's no problem waiting. Someone else give me money. I love you. Enough dilly-dally. Get the arrow coming out and the Idris M being at new ship deal in Louisville for anniversary sale. Help this little shite out. What? Shite. I love you, shite. So yeah. The Idris M has been spawnable in 3.35 in the Revenant York hangar for people that actually own an Idris M. Idris M is one of the rarest ships in the game as far as I'm aware, because it was only available at one time and then hasn't been available since, other than to someone... I can tell you actually. Other than... Jeffreezy? Jeffreezy, who got it as a referral reward. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that's correct. Citation needed. But it was, yeah, spawnable in the hangar, and yeah, you could run around. Someone sent me a video on it, which I used. Let's see if I can bring this up for you. I don't know where it is though. Which is going to cause some problems. Is it in my video storage drive? I sort by...
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Date. Let me get... Let's get some people's pictures up. And that's probably good enough, isn't it? Bam. We've got sort of like... Basically, it's not the full asset of the Idris M. It is... got no internal geometry as far as I'm aware, anywhere, and it clips because it's much too big for the hangar, so it clips into the floor and stuff. But the fact that it is there is the interesting thing. Now, what we are supposing, or at least I am supposing, is that they will have an in-game event for 3.3 that is at the same time as the anniversary sale on the 23rd. So this Friday, they started the anniversary sale, and the anniversary... they will have, we'll talk about the anniversary again in a bit more detail. So every day they're basically having a ship manufacturer. Let's actually load this on the screen as well. A ship manufacturer, and you can buy all the ships that they've ever made, pretty much. There's going to be limited hulls available for some of the ships. So you might have an Idris,
dodging
for
bullets
example,
like fucking
beautiful.
Neo.
Be like 200 of them sold, something like that. We don't know the numbers. We don't know exactly what ships are going to be on sale, but it will be most, if not all, of previously sold ships. Probably not the Idris M. Maybe a few Idris M's. But the reason the Idris M might be an engine is because they might have it on display in Louisville. They might have lots of ships on display at Louisville at this time, and have like the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo at Louisville on Hurston, which would be pretty cool. And they can do these sort of in-game events now, and they've got the backbone, the infrastructure, the skeleton. They can do it. It makes sense. So we're going to have anniversary sale between the 23rd of November and the 4th of December. And between the 23rd of November and the 30th of November, there is going to be a free flight for everyone. As long as you've got a Star Citizen account, you don't even need a game package to try the game. And each day, you will be able to try the manufacturer's ships that are flyable of that day. So on November the 23rd, you get Anvil. On the 24th, you get Robert Space Industries. 25th, Origin Jump Works. 26th, Aegis Dynamics. 27th, Drake Interplanetary. 28th, Alien Manufacturers. So that's like the Blades and the Cartu Al and Nox and stuff. The 29th, Misk. 30th is sort of like all of the other and newer manufacturers. So you get like the Merlins and the Tumbrils and the Mustangs. And each of those days as well will have different sales on. So it'll be sale based on the manufacturer, and it will be most, if not all of their ships on sale they previously sold, some restrictions, and there will be certain hull amounts. sold for some of the ships. So if they sell the Constellation Phoenix again, it will be a certain amount of them. If they sell the Kraken again, it will only be a certain amount of them. And then between the 1st and the 4th of December, you should be able to buy all the ships they previously sold during the sale. There's very likely to be cheaper starter packages available. So think Mustang Alpha and Aurora MR. Typically as well, they give 12 months insurance for every year of anniversary. So this is the 6th year anniversary, I think. So this would be potentially 72-month insurance on your ships. They might do lifetime insurance on them. We don't 100% know yet. They might restrict it just down to, 60 months insurance or something. We'll have to wait and see with that. But we know that the Anvil Arrow appears to be flyable because it's on the Flyable Ships list, and it is the new Anvil ship that's going to be on sale either from Thursday, but more like, well, maybe it'll be from Thursday for Concierge, and maybe, but Thursday or Friday, the Anvil will go on sale and we'll know more about it. It could be a lot of different things. The Arrow, it could be a light fighter, it could be a ground vehicle, for all we know, to be honest. Unlikely, but possible. Some people have said it's a capital ship. Some people have said it's a boarding ship. We just don't know yet. It's called Arrow, though. What else? Anything else for this the anniversary sale that we want to know? Finally caught a live stream. Keep up the good work. Cheers. Bryce Berg, thank you very much for the monies. I love your face. Appreciate it. And Turbotine 27. I don't know why I have such trouble with names. My brain just can't cope. Turbotine. That's thank you very much for the bits. Appreciate it. And the sub. Thank you. And I love you, Shade, by the way. Yeah, thanks. Cool. But yeah, I'm sort of semi-excited for the anniversary sale. We know the Anvil's the Arrow's gonna be there from Arrow, but we might see some other things as well. We could see Titan exosuits. Maybe we'll just see like some information on them. We could see the Drake Corsair, which would be probably their answer to the Constellation. There's a boatload of ground vehicles that almost certainly will be put into the game at some point. There's loads of Squadron 42 stuff. The Santokyai for the Xi'an as well, that was mentioned in the lore post as being human compatible, or that they're trying to convert it for human use. We don't know much about the Santokyai other than basically its name translates into apex bird predator thing. So the Xi'an have a rare super killer bird on their planet, which is basically what it's called. As far as I'm aware, I don't know much about Xi'an. Maybe I'll learn a little bit in the future. What have we got? What have we got? Any questions? Lots of people talking about Article 13, which is good. I want people talking about it more than anything else. Love your faces, appreciate it. I'm thinking of buying a hull class. Do you think ship docking will be coming anytime soon? So they're going to have ship to station docking first, and then ship to ship docking afterwards. With the hull series, they need to get the multi-grid physics tech done, and they need cargo 2.0. They say they're going away from the 2.0 and stuff like that. So cargo next, cargo X. So there's a reasonable amount to do before you're going to have your hull in game. So just bear that in mind. Probably next year though. But yeah, so the recent 3.35 FPT patch is for me by far the best 3.35 patch they've done. It is stable as hell. I haven't had any crashes on it at all. The frame rate in Louisville is not great, but it's not giga janky like it was previously. And as soon as I'm out of Louisville, literally as soon as I've taken off out of Louisville and I'm a few hundred meters away from the ground level of Louisville, then I get 50 plus frames and then 80 plus around everywhere else, or 70 plus around everywhere else. Going all the way up to 115, I think, in my earlier recording session. Have you noticed the weird haze on Daymar and Eta? So I thought, that's the Eta's the acid one, isn't it? So I thought that was a haze effect that they wanted because of, I know, chemicals or heat. Is that not what they wanted for Eta? As soon as you get to a certain level, you can see this like haze. And I was like, oh, is my resolution gone down? And then getting closer, I was like, oh, it's actually sort of like a generated shimmer on the planet everywhere. So yes, I have noticed it. I'm thinking of buying a hull class. That's what we talked about. Hey, Board, looking for an alternative to the Cutlass. I want cargo space, a nice decent weapon loadout, and a turret. Is there something I should keep my eye out that's flight ready? The Valkyrie? I really rate the Cutlass, though. The Cutlass is really cheap and really effective. It's sort of like a lot of Drake ships are. They do exactly what you need them to do. And that can carry cargo, it can carry a little bike. It's great. It's a solid little mod crew ship. Could also look for one of the freelancers or freelance variants, maybe a Cutlass variant. I'm not sure how the Cutlass Blue is going to work in the future. If you can remove the cells, then I will probably highly rate the Cutlass Blue. If not, then I'll be upset because I want cargo. Yeah, freelancer, Valkyrie, Cutlass. So every, I think it's 80 ships, almost every ship that is flyable will be flyable during the anniversary week. So between the 23rd and 30th of November, every day there will be a different manufacturer, and you'll be able to fly all of those ships that manufacturer has flyable for free during that time. So I believe the only restriction to flyable ships that are flyable in game will be the Saber Raven. I believe that is the only one. Oh, and potentially the Mustang Omega. Those are the only two I can think of because they are promo ships. Subsumption isn't a simple fix. One does not simply add subsumption. They need to do lots of stuff to the economy and the NPCs and stuff. Can ships land on the ocean or drive into it? Yeah, so basically, you can go into the ocean. As soon as the ocean hits your character's head, it kills you. Okay, so you can wade into the oceans. Or can I turn up my audio? Yes, I can. Apologies. La la la. Is that okay? I don't want to blow people's eardrums out, but I do want them to be able to hear me. I'm paying attention to all chats, to be honest. It's just I'm quite far behind. I always do this. With different ship manufacturers, different materials, and different game companies, do you know if there will be any kind of stock market to invest in these interests? I don't. They haven't talked about a stock market for the game, and they want the trade to be very hands-on, as far as I'm aware. You will be able to effectively do investments and things by holding large stocks of commodities and things like that, and then selling them. So you'd have like loads and loads of, I don't know, crates of steel or diamonds in a warehouse, and then you could sell them at the right
dodging
time.
bullets.
So there will be
fucking
beautiful
Leo.
opportunities. Thank you very much, Turbo Team. Very much appreciated for the more bits. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Can I post a link for that, please? Any more specifics? Does the free flight? Oh yeah, of course I can. It will almost certainly be the free flight promotion.
Dodging bullets like
Oh,
fucking
beautiful.
Leo.
Derpy chap here. Apologies. Does the free flight start on Friday for all flyable ships? It's different each day, so it will be Anvil on the Friday the 23rd. I heard an infamous YouTuber speculating wildly about a possible new Xi'an ship sale. Care to expand? Yeah, Tom. It was the Santoki Eye. It was in a lore post, and it was mentioned as being a ship that they are trying to convert, or are converting, or have converted for human use. And I don't know what the Santoki Eye is, but I would suspect it would be a medium or heavy fighter, or a fighter bomber. We don't know what type of ship the Arrow's supposed to be yet, other than an anvil ship and its name. So it will be 8 a.m. PST every day, the start of the sale. So starting from the 23rd, so 8 a.m. I immediately forgot what I said as I said it. Wow. 8 a.m. PST. 8 a.m. PST, which is 4 p.m. UTC, or GMT plus 0. And that every day, that's when the sale starts or moves on to the next manufacturer. So Friday, 4 p.m. UTC. Anvil sale. Start of the sale. Let's bring that back up. There's lots of other stuff I want to talk about, like Star Citizen passing the $200 million mark and things like that as well. I also need to get a couple of videos done today, or at least one video. I want to talk about the moons and talk about them being barren at the moment, but them hooking up missions and things like that. And I do want to show off because they use so many materials on the moons now, they do look quite impressive, even if they're just a single biome. A single biome can actually be quite interesting and varied. Just a single biome now, which is pretty cool. Could the arrow be a snub? Yeah, it could be. Can be Star Citizen consider a viable game right now? Can we? Maybe. Can we play and progress until future release, or is it just a demo with a lot of bugs? Just a demo with a lot of bugs, because there's no full persistence. There are some really cool things there, but you are sandboxing it. You are finding your own fun at the moment, which, if it was the premise of the game to entirely find your own fun with no progression, then yeah, it could be considered a full game. However, that's not what Star Citizen's going for. Star Citizen is supposed to be quite an expansive, a little bit like Second Life, a little sandboxy, but it does have progression, and it doesn't have that properly yet. You are able to do some of the gameplay loops, though. There are some missions. There is obviously a full planet. You can buy ships, but they will get the money you earn, and the ships that you buy in-game with in-game currency will get basically removed and reset every major patch release. At least every major patch release. She's bored, are you blind? No, but you are... No, actually, it's a really insensitive joke, Harbinger. I love you. So what's next on the BG shopping list? I'm pretty good ship-wise, I think. I mean, I'd like a Kraken. If anyone wants to give me, I don't know, what is it, $1,500? Or a Kraken, that'd be better. No. I talked to Twerk about this, actually. I'll probably buy any ships that make sense for me to do content on early on, or that are great for videos, or are really interesting, or are economy-based ships. So things that are industry and economy-based. But other than that, I don't want to spend too much money on ships, because I'd rather buy hardware, I'd rather buy stuff for my craft, as in YouTube stuff, and I want to get a 4K monitor, I want to get... really annoying, because I think the next generation of Intel/AMD processors and the next GeForces are going to be superb. So I'm sort of holding out as long as I can. So as well as the specific ship days, everything will be on sale again between the 1st and the 4th of December. Yes, Josh, I believe so. Obviously, some of the hulls may have sold out for certain things. So if they sell Idrises or Krakens in a limited number, once they're gone, they're gone. Well, the rumor is true that you have a cameo in the new Star Trek show playing Jean-Luc Picard, the long-lost son who inherits his ship and crew. Oh my god. I love Jean-Luc. think he's an amazing character. And The Next Generation is just by far the best Star Trek they've ever done. I love it. Not the films, but the series is superb. Yeah, so I'm expecting a load of the ships to go up in price for this sale. So the Orion, it's double in size. Like, it's fucking huge, double in length. Probably a better thing. I'm not sure what the size percentage increase would be. But it's double in length. It's huge. It's huge, that Orion. So yeah, I do expect a load of the ships to go up in price. Only read YouTube? No, I told you. Just people need to put question in brackets. What do you think the Arrow could be? Maybe a Titan suit? No. I mean, it could be, couldn't it? It could be a Titan suit. It's unlikely. The universe is simply not populated with enough missions on locations and moons to understand that you would not be able to be flying between these distances all the time. So at the moment, they haven't hooked the missions and points of interest up for 3.35 properly yet. Once they do that, once they have the generation in that area of space for missions, that'll be a lot better. Also, some of the points of interest that are marked don't actually exist. When can we buy a space pirate boat? Well, I mean, what do you mean? I mean, the Drake ships are effectively that. When do you think they'll add insurances in game? So obviously they have the ability that you can claim insurance now, but it's like tier derp implementation. It will almost certainly be before or at the same time as full persistence, because that makes sense. You're having persistent ships, you need the insurance there to support the things that you're getting or buying or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know anything beyond sort of like at some point. Do you think they will sell plots of land again on the anniversary? So they're almost certainly going to sell Pioneers on one of the days, which day would that be? It'll be on the 30th of November. So I think they probably will. I was sort of hoping they wouldn't, because some people might get pissy with it. Any news on actually co-op missions versus current only for one person model? They have been working on co-op missions and the ability to share more stuff between groups and like FUEC sharing and stuff like that. Obviously, you can use service beacons at the moment to pass some money effectively onto one person to another. Co-op missions, I'm assuming, is part of the orgs pillar. So they've got 3 more pillars they're trying to do for ASAP as like grand pillars towards completion, and it's organizations. So that's literally deeper organization gameplay, which should also include group stuff. But they'll be working on lots of group stuff before that and getting it implemented as soon as they can, as far as I'm aware. And then there's full persistence and server meshing. Full persistence, obviously, full persistence in game, everything's saved. And then server meshing is their server meshing technology. So effectively, you can have thousands of people in areas with each other, and the server sort of like seamlessly merged together, so they can spin up and spin down servers based on population of areas. So you could technically have everyone in a single shard. Any thoughts on the Orion? I've been thinking of getting at this sale. I'm hoping it goes up in price, the Orion. It's one of my favourite ships. I've also got a couple of them, and I was planning to upgrade my Orion, one of my Orions, to something like a Kraken or something once it increases in price. So then I cross-chassis upgrade it up to a more expensive ship. Do ships purchased with in-game currency have insurance on them? Yes, at the moment they do. They are claimable on insurance. I'm very far behind. That's all it is. People say I'm not paying
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Bored WTF.
Oh, thank you very much, Raging Sage. Thank you very much for the resub. Do you think it might help for Star Citizen to have a benchmarking tool so backers can see any running problems? Yes, I think that would actually be a really good idea. They don't need to keep on updating that tool. They can have it like automatically updated, something nice and simple, so people can see the frame rates as it does a pass of a station or something, or capital ships fight each other. A nice cap ship battle would be great, wouldn't it? Because then, if that got adopted a bit by the industry as let's test new graphics card stuff out, then Star Citizen would get a lot of exposure as well. I don't know how hard something like that is to do. Do you think they'll get NPCs and underground mining bases out of for Louisville by 3.35's release? Because they haven't really been in there so far, I don't know. I suspect it will be tested in the PTU phase, potentially from today onwards. So it depends on how well that goes. So if it's super easy, yes. If it causes loads of problems and bugs, then no. Anvil Racer. I mean, the Arrow could be a racer. XXX. QC XXX. Do we have a date? What? What are your thoughts on Louisville as default spawn location? They have a thread up in Spectrum on that question. Should they let you choose where to spawn? I would love to choose where to spawn when I start the game. Just every patch, every major patch, will check when they reset spawn points. I'd love to be able to choose where I spawn. That would be great. It makes sense for the PTU though. Well, they're testing those areas to have you spawn in those areas though. 3.3.5 stability is pretty good now. Performance in Louisville seems improved. How have they fixed some server side things without patching? Probably. They can do a mixture of the two things, can't they? They can have the client side patches and they can change stuff server side. They're definitely testing some odd things that I think is for the anniversary, because there's obviously that Idris that was around. Am I looking forward to the Mako news van? Yes. I'm not a fan of the Reliance, but I am a fan of anything that allows me to create better content. And if there's some way that I can create content in the game and out of game and earn UEC doing it, that's MLG Pro. Should I melt my Kraken for an Idris? Up to you, Lifson. Depends. Do you want the Kraken as a little mobile base and service station, or do you want the Idris, which is a frigate, which is going to be capital E pew pew? If you've got not a huge amount of ships, then I'm more likely to go for the Idris. If you're like want the Kraken for a centerpiece in a fleet for like an Org, then I might stick with the Kraken. I prefer the Idris, I think. Don't know. I like DS9. I just prefer TNG. And DS9 got really weird at the end. I love Patrick Stewart. He's occasionally been a bit mad. But I love him in Star Trek especially. I love Jean-Luc Picard as a character. Any more info on data mining ships like the Mercury or data mining in general? Not really. But, I mean, they've talked about it a little bit. You'll be able to gather information, hack people's data lines, hack people's information between two ships. They're data transferring. There'll be missions based on that. But we don't know too much. Because there is going to be some way that data has value, more than just going and finding locations for things. Your data will have a storage requirement, so it's going to be interesting how you package data and what counts as packaged data. Is it going to be like you scanning anomalies and scientific data? Is that going to be scientific data, and then you can store however much terabytes of scientific data and then sell it as just a thing? Or is it more specific than that? With major features to be done on the persistent universe, local inventory, proper AI, bullet physics, do you think 1 year is enough for a Squadron 42 beta? Squadron 42 doesn't require anywhere near the sort of work that Star Citizen does. Bullet physics, I think the bullet physics stuff is more for multiplayer. The stuff they've got listed already. So there's a lot of stuff that can be scripted or doesn't need the AI to work in multiplayer because they can have it's very specific locations that there's going to be AI. So it's mostly pathfinding problems that they have. They can easily solve that in a single player game. So I think we could by the end of next year potentially have Squadron 42 out. But I'm always optimistic of that. I've said that since 2016. So I mean, there's a rumor that they've got a Squadron 42 launch party coming in December next year. And that is just a really, really vague rumor from Batgirl and Montoya. But are we going to lock and unlock over ships or open doors and ramps or even start our ships from outside? So they don't want much in the way of remote access to ships when it comes to like using a mobile stuff. They want everything to be as tactile as possible. You are going to have security consoles in ships that allow you to lock doors. There's going to be permissions, so certain people can open certain doors, and you can set those permissions to those people. You will be able to use your multi-tool to hack doors effectively, open them in some way. And then there is going to be more of a hacking mechanic eventually. Rec points can be used for Arena Commander and Star Marine. That's the idea, but not for the persistent universe. What kind of FPS are you getting in Louisville with the current patch? Between 30 at the low point, and then up to 45. That's when I'm recording, though. It can be a little tiny bit more if I'm not recording. I think I've occasionally had spikes down to like 20, 26 when I'm taking off from Tessa Airport, Spaceport, doing like a spin around. But it's a lot better than it's previously been around Louisville. Oh, you get loads of 8. 3.35 is in PTU for everyone that has a game package. Hi, board love dedication. I'm wondering if one can use /share coordinates on planets. Would like to find Easter eggs and them underground banter stations on Hurston. You'll be able to share them like on Reddit, but in the short term, there's no way of sharing locations with people unless you are at that location and you do a service beacon. That's the best thing I can say. Be part of a group so they can see you, or do a service beacon. Board, what are your thoughts on player auction websites where some backers sell ships? Grey market. It's not my job to say it's good or bad morally. I don't give a fuck, really, to be honest, Stormfire, as long as it doesn't somehow break something or be pay to win or whatever, but it's sort of semi-irrelevant. There's always going to be a black or grey market in every game that has some form of competition or multiplayer, or where some people can buy things. You have it in Eve, you have it in WoW, you have it everywhere. So the fact that it's more regulated with Star Citizen, because effectively when you go to the like Star Citizen trades on Reddit, that is quite well regulated. There are middlemen services. There are ways to report people for good trades and bad trades. And there are alerts on there. There's like a safety system on there that they go through, like, do it this way, make sure they've got a verified PayPal, all that sort of stuff. So I like to see people that say Scam Citizen crying on this update. Look, okay, with the Scam Citizen thing, I think some of it obviously is just people like to watch the world burn, and they're trolling a lot of the time. They know that they can get a reaction out of a lot of Star Citizens, because a lot of people think it's their duty to defend the game somehow. It's really not your duty to do that, in my opinion. I'm not going to really decry and like shame people for doing it, but you don't need to defend the game. You can counteract their opinion or whatever, or their point of view by explaining or saying something to them. You don't need to defend Star Citizen. It's not a thing that needs defending, in my opinion, anyway. It's sort of like, let people have their own opinions. You don't need to convince anyone of anything. Just play the game and enjoy it. Obviously, if someone is shitting on something you love, that's harder to do. I just think that people will make their own opinions up on stuff. Yeah, it's annoying when people that don't know what they're talking about, clearly haven't researched something, say stuff like that, or say stuff that's totally incorrect about Star Citizen. I'd go and say, no, actually, honestly, have a look at this video. There's some cool stuff there. Rather than say, you are wrong. Let's go, there's some cool stuff here. Potentially you haven't done the research or whatever, or someone's told you it's Scam Citizen. Worst scam ever if it is, because they've got 500 employees and they're spending all the money on getting the game out. And some of it's playable now, and they keep on producing new stuff every 3 months for us. And they have all these shows where they show us the constant content updates. And they just had CitizenCon, where they showed something tangible that was going to be on our hands, which is now in our hands. So it's this kind of ridiculous when you put it in perspective for people. If people have got an opinion of the game is taking ages to release and I wanted the simple space game they promised in Kickstarter, they've got much more of a point. You can go, oh yeah, I can see that some people did probably want that. I didn't want that though. That's not why I backed the game. I backed the game for the current scope and the project and the community and the bar citizens and the fact, well, for me, and the fact I can make content and news on it really regularly. And I really, really love the idea of the game. I really love what I can play now. I like the fact there's always something new, which doesn't force me to grind, because there's not a game there yet for me to have full persistence with. That will evolve the channel in the future to do that. But it's the community and the project itself that I love. And the game is just a great secondary to that at the moment. Yeah, sorry, I went a bit off topic. This is why I get so far behind on chat. How likely is it the Vanguard will receive a Cutlass Mustang 300i level update? Unlikely to receive that sort of update. It will get little reworks, little updates, and more likely to get some buffs and changes. Lots of ships are going to get a little bit of a ickle rework and updates and materials changes and stuff like that, just constantly, because when they update their processes, they'll just do that. There won't be these huge reworks. There'll be very small amounts of time to do that. But the new flight model will cause a load of ships to have those changes. But I do suspect that the Vanguards in the future will come into their own after that new flight model change. You're never going to get your question answered, John Steele. I apologise. I can't see them all. Question in brackets. I will try and answer it. Do you think you will be upgrading to the RTX, the GeForce 20 series anytime soon? I don't know. I haven't made the decision yet. What channels do you think CIG will announce anniversary sale changes? Anything not on the list? I don't understand the question, Phil. There'll definitely be there'll definitely be a load of more ships on sale than are on the list for flyable ships, because they'll be selling every ship that's in concept as well, or most of them. Will rec points ever be? I've already answered that. So it's only for Arena Commander and Star Marine. Hey Bored, do you use any voice attacks packages? I have previously, but obviously I'm recording all the time, so I don't use them, and I haven't used it for quite a while. What packages would you recommend for people that aren't native English speakers? I don't know, Grayson. However, I've got mods that are like Spanish, and I know a few French people and a few Germans. I will ask them. What I'll do is, at some point, I'll probably have a little section on my website which addresses links to other Star Citizen websites or groups that are very good at handling questions like that, or have assets in multiple forms. So like there's Star Citizen France and that sort of stuff. But I'll do something. I'll address that in some way, because I know there's a load of different people out there that don't speak English necessarily. Can we expect more hammerheady ships in the future? I'm interested Corvette combat type stuff, and I'd like to see an anti-fighter anvil ship. Maybe. We'll certainly see more capital ships. We'll certainly see alien capital ships in the future. It'll be a good mix. I mean, obviously we've got the Polaris and stuff like that. Oh, my chat just jumped down. Bam. As CIG is working out the in-game ship prices, Do we know if they are going to keep a constant exchange rate between dollars and Alpha UEC for all ships? No. Logan, they are... eventually, it's going to be entirely dynamically in-game. The cost for ships, Alpha UEC and UEC and all that sort of jazz. And the cost in the cost in dollars should not be used to represent the value of the ship in-game. Okay, just bear that in mind. Will all ships be available to buy or upgrade during the anniversary, or just a few? Almost all of them. Potentially all of them. Probably not going to sell the Saber Raven or the Omega Mustang. And there might be a couple of other exceptions as well. Some hulls are going to be limited, so they might only have a few Idris if they sell them. That sort of thing. 3.35E was super laggy for me as well. But the new F patch is great for me. This will be my first anniversary sale, assuming everything has to be melted in advance and ready. No, you just do it whenever you want. Do it at the time. Any tips or tricks you can recommend to get the rare ships? Not really. Just, you really want a ship? Buy the ship. Check to see if there's an upgrade for it when the sale goes live. If you're really worried about them instantly selling out, typically they'll give a warning. If it's like, we only got 500 Idrises, and this is the times we're going to sell them, and we'll sell them in waves. Typically they do that. Noobify might have some recommendations on how to get the rare ships, but I don't really want to subscribe to the limited ship hype. You can get them all in game, although I do realise that people want to know that information. So, other than mashing your F5 key, I don't really have anything more. Some ships might only be purchasable with new cash, so bear that in mind as well, rather than store credits. How are you? Did anyone ask about the hull hips? If no, when do you think we might see the BLC? Someone's already asked about it. So they need to get multi-grid physics tech working so they can have the animation of the compression of the spindles. They need to get cargo 2.0 done so they can have different size cargo boxes and they attach. And they want to have ship to station docking as well, so the hull can actually make use of its cargo. So it's a while out. Hey, Board, do you know if they'll be able to... If I will be able to give other players roles as part of my crew, which they will come with privileges and restrictions? Yes, there will be security privileges. Yeah, and you can tell them, say they can only use certain MFDs and certain systems. That's 100% what they want to do. Statement. The Carrack is so popular in concept and design that Drake has to make a large exploration vessel in the next year. That is probably... So, I keep on saying that the Corsair is Drake's answer to the Constellation, but I think it might be like a cross between a Constellation and a Carrack. I think it's going to be exploration-minded. That's my expectation of it. I'm a bit confused. Okay, Johnny A. Excuse me for asking. The Idris will be most probably available on the November 26th, right? Most likely, yes. This is the Aegis Dynamics one. The time and dates when Aegis Sale should start aren't out. So every day, the sale changes to the next manufacturer at 4 PM UTC. Okay, which is 8 AM PST. Anything known about the Corsair? Just what it was supposed to be, sort of like a Drake answer to the Constellation. I think someone has said previously that it's might be exploration minded, so maybe Carrack Constellation hybrid is what I'm actually thinking, but something that is Constellation-y, maybe Constellation Aquila, like, or maybe just a reasonably good multi-role. I love that it takes 35 years to get larger ships out of Hurston's atmosphere in 3.3.5. How good is it going to be once the new flight model hits? Out of 10. We need to see the flight model first. I'm hoping that the flight model is in a reasonable condition when it gets released in 3.5, that we can see the elements and how they come together. I mean, obviously it's going to need a lot of balancing and polish and work after it comes out even. But I'm hoping then I go, right, I'm going to learn combat, I'm going to learn to fly. Now all of these skills that I'm learning are basically transferable. Because at the moment I feel sort of like, well, there's no real need to learn to be good at combat and flying and how everything works, because it's going to change so drastically. I don't know how many talks will be on Xi'an ships. That's a good point, though. Hey, Boyd. Hey, Boyd. Board is VoIP working. We couldn't get it working all Saturday night. I haven't tried in the last couple of patches. VoIP works fine, though. And VoIP definitely works multiplayer. Now that Nintendo is dominating gaming, when can we expect CIG to release a Switch and DS variant of Star Citizen? Fuck, it's coming to mobiles. It's coming to mobiles. They switched all their best devs over to it. Isn't Arc Corp going to be a planet-wide city? Yes. How do they plan to address the FPS with something so massive? Sorry, didn't put the brackets in last time. Anorays Reaper. They actually talked about it on ATV recently, so you could go and check out that ATV. The second half of it is basically all on Arc Corp. They've got a series of levels of detail that mean that it looks great from a distance and that it's pretty good as they go in. Well, let me show you some of it, actually. See if I've got easy access to sorting. And then sort by date. And has that got my latest videos anywhere? That's how I look when I look at things. Why isn't everything just easily labelled? Oh, it is. It's just in a different place. Anniversary details. Nope. Sandy Gardner. Nope.
Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with a
videos. I got more on. No, just my big chunky fingers.
Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen news with a.
Did I not? I must have made a video about.
Hello and welcome to some more Star UI.
Just doing this.
Asset and Idris. There are issues with NPCs and, if possible, sections of cities before it does. Coming with 3.5. So that's the.
Just listen to me, listening to myself. So this is Arc Corp from distance. So they're working on the tech to make it look good, and this is some of the concept art. But typically, when they make ecosystem blocks, they make them in quite high detailed sections of 4 by 4 kilometers, and this like they're ranging it out to 64 by 64 kilometers, and they're trying to make it not look repetitive, which is obviously quite hard. But some of the areas are going to be more hero landing zone-esque, and other areas are going to be like this giant metal plating stuff, which is obviously going to have detail, but it looks like it's just like greebled metal. Obviously, it will have more detail as you get down, and some of the areas down in the cracks will obviously show more of the city, but they can do lots of clever techniques to try and have this sort of like very high detailed looking area, which doesn't necessarily need to have all the detail in the world. Obviously, this is Louisville here, but the Arc Corp one will have mixed areas of detail, but it does look like a greebled surface to me. Greebles? Is that what they're called? I think so. It's like these areas of sections of industry buildings with then lots of metal plating and sort of like enclosed structures everywhere. I think it looks amazing from a distance. It's fantastic like that. But object container streaming should, for the most part, be able to deal with it. Obviously, it's not great in Louisville at the moment. It just needs optimization for that and the ability to cut it into smaller chunks. Boom. Do I have a good website to get all the starsets and HD wallpapers? No, Zenthor's Zenthor's got a decent art, which I recommend for pictures. Give that some love. He does very, very good starsets, and he snappy shotters. There's some amazing ones there that I have not seen before as well. So check those out. That's why I recommend getting a load of wallpapers. Mr. Haskaha and stuff like that do amazing ones as well. Board, at a guess, what stage of development is Microtech or Orson at in production realistically? Patch 3.7 or 3.8 or further than that. So they need, okay, Orison and some of the Microtech assets might be quite far in. However, Orison requires the Gas Cloud tech and Crusader to be done, which is going to be a while, because the Gas Cloud tech they're developing in-game might be related to the stuff they're going to use for weather tech and for cloud tech of gas giants, but it is not the same. So that might be reasonably far out. We might get it towards the end of next year. Microtech, Dome Cities, the biomes are probably pretty solid. They can do those pretty easily on Microtech, but the hero assets for the actual city and the generation of that, I don't know how long that's going to take. That's something that might be relatively easy. They could get done halfway through next year, or they might require more work. I don't know. I suspect there's going to be a concerted effort to get all of that out and Stanton into an almost finished state for next year. And then we'll start to see more systems, is my expectation. Because they've got Terra, Magnus, and Pyro they can all expand out into, and they want to. Which is the proximate locations for jump points with Stanton. I have 3 starter packages for gifting to my friends in the future. What is the best way to add Squadron 42 to them, melt them, and rebuy the combined packages? I believe so, Adrian. I think that's the best way of doing it. I appreciate the love. Thank you. Do you know if they're planning on putting missions into and around Hurston before they release it live? I believe so, David. I mean, I've been waiting for the 3.35 PTU patch where they hook up the missions. I mean, otherwise it's just fucking empty, isn't it? They need to have those mission givers working. They need to have the missions working in those areas. With the new flight model, do you think they may need to look at the Polaris and 890 jump to see if they need VTOL engines? Maybe. They might not want them landing on planets anyway. But yes, all the ships will be looked at. Best $250 all-round ship. Go. Or a Constellation. And that's... A while ago, you'd have had a lot more ships because they were a lot cheaper. The Carrack over 250 was 350, wasn't it? Will we have to have pets at some point? Yeah, it was a stretch goal. They want pets in game. We're not sure what form they take. I suspect the earlier stages of pets will be like fish and then caged animals and things like that. Vivariums and things like that. But eventually maybe animals as wearable clothing. Like you have a parrot or a lizard on your shoulder or something. You might have to have AI pets in the future, but I don't know. It'd be amazing if you could have like a little monkey pet in your room. Oh my god, and it just jumps around. Oh. Will there be property to buy or rent? Yes, they want HABs, and at some point HABs will be fully customizable by players, or at least partially customizable, I suppose. Fully customizable is a little bit too open-ended, but they will be rentable on certain planets. And hangars as well. Sorry, I just lost where I was. Do you think the Herald will still have a viable place in the data business of the verse, or the Mercury has completely overshadowed it? I think the Herald will still have its place. The Herald's going to be really pretty damn fast in a straight line. It's going to be the smaller one person sort of like ship. It's not going to be for as much data, but I suspect it will be pretty quick. More sensitive data, I'd probably use a Herald as long as it would fit in it. Is the Vanguard the ship it was originally intended to be? I ask because I feel that the growth of the game over the years and the remake of some of the ships, the evolution process, and I don't see the Warden as this heavy fighter that's so great anymore. It struggles greatly in dogfights. We'll have to see after the new flight model how that gets rebalanced. I want the Vanguards to have the correct place. The Vanguard is probably the fighter that I want to fly in the verse. I don't want one of these smaller escort fighters. I want something that's longer range. I want something that has more uses. I'm probably not going to be the greatest at Twitch fast reaction dogfighting. The Vanguard seems more sensible to me for my sort of needs. It's supposed to be very tanky. All the ships are going to need balancing to their intended purpose, especially after that new flight model. What do you think of the new landing system? We need the new flight model before we actually have a proper one. I like the fact that the landing gear is spongy. I like the fact that it's really easy to land. For me, it is anyway. If bananas are extinct in Star Citizen, how am I meant to run my Retros 50s diner without banana splits? Well, you just pretend you know what banana tastes like, eh? Are they going to have transit roads built into cities to drive tanks and other land-based vehicles through cities? They sort of talked about roads. They are going to have roads. I'm not sure what form exactly they will take while going through cities, but I suspect so. I expect you'll see roads through cities that players can drive on. Maybe there'll be highways. The most likely thing they'll do is highways above the city or below the city, and then have the ability to drive through there, potentially even parallel to the train tracks. But there will be public transport and that sort of thing, and there'll probably be NPCs on them as well. Check out Autofinica. Autofinica. I can't say the name Red Spin, but I will check them out. Feel free to link me. Do you think we will have space mines for weapons? I think eventually we'll have space mines, yes. It makes sense that they have that. Will there be black holes in the verse? Yeah, I believe so. One of the systems has a black hole in it on the star map. I suspect they'll be able to do scientific missions around that. Do you think it will be possible to circumnavigate ArcCorp by foot or vehicle? Oh, I was about to say yes. I don't know. If they put highways in, yes. If they have public transport across it, yes. But I don't think everywhere will be goable on ArcCorp. I think it'll be a lot more restricted. There'll probably be a good few landing zones and sort of areas you can explore on it. Effectively lots of Louisvilles on it. But I don't expect you'll be able to go everywhere. What would the best starter to get once the anniversary hits? Almost certainly the Mustang Alpha is the recommended starter ship that I recommend you get. It's also worth technically $5 more than the Aurora, so if you upgrade it, you get more out of it. And you might want to upgrade it to the Avenger Titan. The Avenger Titan basically allows you to do all the gameplay in the game at the moment, other than mining. And scramble races as well, I suppose, as well. But I hope that the Titan suits go on concept, but we don't know. Less likely, because basically Andy said, "Oh, they're a way out." Box on feet as pet? No, it's just for scale. Does FOIP work with glasses? Yes, but obviously it doesn't track your eyebrows as well, and it's not as good with glasses. But you can get it working with glasses, yes. They'll get it better and better as well. When can we expect to see dynamic ships, dynamic damage to ships, and companion multi-tool ship repairs? I've heard it's coming eventually, but I haven't had anything in a long while. That's a good question. So repair version 1 is coming with 3.6 at the moment, which is the second quarter of 2019. So was that June, end of June? That's when it's planned for. Some more of that repairing stuff. You might be able to get the physicalized components around that as well, which is probably what's going to happen. Physicalized components means that you can remove an actual component, such as a power generator or a shield generator, and that directly affects the ship. You can switch that out for different ones. They can be individually targeted or blown off or whatever. Now that Louisville security NPCs shoot to kill, do you think they will make weapons alive again? At some point, they probably want deeper criminality and other places you can move to, Franken. They eventually do want to remove armistice zones completely and have restricted items in zones. So it's unlikely you'll be able to carry a pistol around Louisville, I suspect, but you will be able to smuggle them in somehow. How do you get the non-live PTU? If you go to your account and then my hangar, if you go to account, my hangar settings, so account, my hangar settings, and then call it Test Universe and copy your account, you'll get an email. And then you'll be able to log into the PTU. If you want some more info on that, then support. You can go here, and you can literally just search for the PTU, and you'll get access to it there. It will show you what launcher and stuff you need to download. Boom. Do you have a guess on the possible prices of Titan armor? Speculations? I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe around the same price, a little bit cheaper than a Tonk, so $50 to $90 maybe. I don't know. Entirely pulled out of my ass. They're not. Their exosuits are like Iron Man suits, or like power loaders, and they're not just for combat. There might be lots of variants of them. At night in Louisville, you can see people walking around the hospital. When can we check out that mechanic? Any idea? You can't see people walking in the hospital, or you can, I suppose. They are 2D sprites that are moving across, and silhouettes. I suspect that the hospital will open up in 3.4 with the business district. Although, obviously, it isn't part of the business district. It's part of the L19 workers zone. But do you think they'll switch the ships at the dealership over time? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Interesting to see how the economy works. They definitely have stocks of them. There's also going to be that Vantage rental service as well at the starport there. So, got a banner merchantman considering trading in some other ship to get the Defender 2. What do you think the interplay between the two will be? I think it will be able to dock and get rearmed and repaired and refueled by the banner merchantman. There'll be some sort of easy, quick docking it can do with it. That's my expectation. Or maybe it'll be able to have a couple of them like under its wings so it can quantum travel with them, so it saves fuel, something like that. But some sort of like quick, simple, easy docking and connection between those ships. What are the plans for an entry-level mining ship? And when is it due for release? I suspect that's the Prospector, the entry-level miner. It's not a starter ship, that's all. Why did CIG decide to scale the planets 1/6 relative to Earth? Why does Hurston only appear to have a troposphere and no atmosphere? I don't know, Insane Apples. They are working on various other things when it comes to their procedural generation and their planetary tech, certainly. Obviously, it doesn't have dynamic weather yet and a billion other things. So, you know, they are working on a lot of stuff like that. It's only just got rotation, Hurston. They built the Sol system, so our system with Earth in it, and then used that to work out the scale they wanted, and they decided on 1-to-1 scale for the Sun, 1-to-6 scale for planets and moons, and then 1-to-10 scale for the systems, for the actual space, the star system, and that basically means that you have relatively close planets to each other, and the Sun provides light to them all. It's very bright and very large, and the planets look bigger, so you have more Star Wars-esque looking planets and moons rather than just dots everywhere. Has the Mercury Star Runner got beds? I believe so. Good, big enough to have beds. I bought the Reliant 2 years ago. How's it holding up today? I never see it in streams. I hate it. It's the ship I hate the most, and you won't see me fly it. As I have to do it for some reason, for like charity. I love your face as well, Bob. Yes, I want to see weapons in game in Louisville, definitely. But I want the full system there because otherwise people will just be shooting each other constantly. Have they ever mentioned adding physics for slings or straps when carrying guns? They want holsters, yeah. For certain things. Oh, I see, but there's also attachment points on the back for certain weapons. Yeah, there's different attachment points for different things. And do you think this Titan suit can be carried in inventory like armor now? Or do you think you'll need to be placed like in Fallout? They want reasons to go to lockers. So I suspect that eventually armor like that will be only changeable in a locker, armor and clothing. And that you won't be able to just put your armor in your inventory, or you have to wear it or not wear it and put it in a locker. So I suspect that will be the same for like that. So, oh, they do want hand mining. They do want prospecting and mining to be done by hand as well. So that might be a thing. But you think RSI have bitten off more they can chew? What? 100%. When they started the project, 100%. But they have been employing people so that they can chew more. And that's why they have 500 employees now. And that's why they're starting to deliver on a load of their stuff for their game. But definitely previously, I mean, 2014, they started to really work on the game. And they made loads of fucking mistakes. They outsourced stuff to Ilphonic, and they had problems with that. And they've been terrible with time frames. And they added a load of feature creep with the planetary tech, which is now a giant pillar of the game, which has delayed like development by at least a year, probably 2 years. Things like that. So yeah, they've made loads of mistakes, but they're getting there now. Like, we're going to have some ways of surviving in atmosphere when we eject. We just don't know how. That could be jump jets. That could be parachutes. Idris M won't go on sale anymore, right? I don't believe so, but they do have an Idris M model, which looks like they're probably going to be showing off during the anniversary sale. That's why it's been hanging around Louisville. So they might. Do I think the Idris peak could ever go over the 2,000 store credits? No. I hope not. I don't think so. I don't think it would. Does anyone know of any fan-made shows filmed using Star Citizen? Yeah, there's a few. There's Tyrellian's ones. So, Combined Arms. There's the machinery ones that Phoenix Feather's done. There's a few. There's a few. A lot of those people have been employed by CIG, though, that have made stuff. Will there be factions? Wait, there's organizations. There's also going to be guilds. So that's like NPC-run organizations that can be one for bounty hunters. And being part of that bounty hunter faction will allow you to have loads of legal data and the ability to see outlaws and be able to scan people and go, is that an outlaw? Is that an outlaw? And then engage them. Things like that. So yeah, there's going to be factions and stuff. And you'll be able to join them. When can I buy a horse in game? Or like in Red Dead Redemption? I don't know. Why do we have no fly zones? You think it's a performance thing? It's a mix. It's a lot of different things. They don't want people crashing into cities and shooting cities. They want a way of protecting cities from people. And they haven't really thought it through fully yet. So, in my opinion, and I don't know what the correct way of handling cities should be. I suppose it's just if you get too close, then the autopilot you down is what I'd do. Or just make it really risky if you get too close. They go criminal violation, they just blow you out of the sky. Probably how they do it in the future. Do you think even with the planetary tech, it will take another, say, year for another planet's built out? No. I think middle of next year, we'll have, we'll easily have our core by then. I don't like the current super orange shields though in Louisville. They are horrible. They need to be subtle. If they do anything like that, it needs to be super subtle. Has everything you've seen on studio tours been publicly announced? No. Good amount of it has. I see some of the ship stuff and some of the Squadron 42 stuff. Although they try to be quite hush-hush about Squadron 42 stuff. How much will the carrot be during the sales? Don't know. It might go up in price. I suspect as well that every day we will see like a little video like they did last year with the manufacturers showing off some of the ships and things. I'm hoping we start to see like some of the ships we haven't seen for a while, like the Banu Merchantman and the Carrack. Just some updates on them. Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Will there be some kind of radio stations, TV news, any sort of broadcasts in game? I mean, they've got render to texture tech, and they've got the Mako news fan they want to use that with. So there should be stuff like that supported in game. They want lots of ways that people can keep themselves busy during long travels, especially their cargo haulers. So yeah, I would expect radio stations, TV news, broadcasts, some of that being entirely player-led. Thanks for your opinion and infos. I don't know already if you saw me writing it, but I really enjoy your content. You're my favourite Star Citizen YouTuber. Keep up the stuff and have a good day. Thank you very much, Johnny. I appreciate the love. The ship pipeline has been streamlined. I think churn out ships in next to no time. It was a lot quicker. It's a lot quicker. Definitely, compared to what it used to be. It's the same with all this stuff. I mean, they've really worked on tools for generation of content. And that's because they need to build out these super complex or super varied mission systems for every area, so that they can fill space with constantly regenerating missions that aren't exactly the same mission. That are varied, even if you're doing the same ones again and again and again and again. And they need to have lots of points of interest, and they need to have the AI working well, and all that subsumption stuff, and the dynamically driven economy. So yeah, they need to work on all these tools. Any other questions? Do you think Star Citizen can fulfill their ideas on a procedural generated universe? I know the idea has been proven in other games, but complexity in Star Citizen is it aims for is truly unprecedented. Well, I go back to my previous question. Yeah, I mean the tools they've got, they can easily do a giant procedure generated universe that will be really cool. I can easily do that. The thing that's going to take them a longer period of time are the gameplay loops within that. So I'm talking specifically about medic stuff, about mining, about salvage, getting all those fun and balanced in each of those dozens of gameplay loops that they want to have in game. And the hero assets. But the actual universe and having like procedure generated missions and procedure generated planets and everything looking pretty good, you can do. But having those cities with the landing zones and the mission givers that are more than just a really simple mission giver, that's what takes the time now. Well, say what takes the time now. They need to finish off the core tech, and then that's what will be taking the time. But they're almost there. They're getting there. What are bunks, beds and bunks for? For logging out in. When you safely log out in a bed, your persistence will be saved. Your ship will basically despawn, and it will respawn there when you log back on. Is the idea. So you click on the bed, holding F, go to bed, and then log out from bed by holding F, log out from the bed. Yeah, and it's buggy at the moment though, so bear that in mind. That's the intention for the future. Do you think there's too much focus on new ships? It feels like the ships have so much focus because they're the money earner, yet each new ship represents resources not working on core systems. I mean, I think they're doing both simultaneously. They're producing a game, and they have a marketing department and concept department that work on ships, which is a very small portion of the company that work on new ships, new concept ships. Obviously, the ship pipeline touches loads of other things as well. So, but I don't think there's too much focus on ships at all. I think they make a big song and dance about them. I think other people say there's too much focus on ships, but it's like, what, 25 people that work on marketing and ships for the company, for the new concept ships, out of 500. Exploration mechanic, do you think it's viable with a limited number of systems in scope for release? Yeah, Dave, there's lots of stuff they can do with exploration. It can be information gathering, it can be science-based stuff, it can be analyzing interesting areas on planet surfaces and on moons. It can also be within a system. Those systems are huge. There's huge amounts to discover on each individual planet, on each individual system, and on the edges of the system. You just keep on going. So there's going to be loads of cool stuff like that, and they can have procedurally generated content there. They can have stuff that is specific for scanning down and points of interest for explorers there, so that they can do that. I think a lot of people just thought they were going to constantly be jumping through jump points into the infinity, like in No Man's Sky, but that's not what Star Citizen is. And a single system, you could probably do the exploration mechanic purely in a single system for hundreds of hours, is what I'm expecting. And it'll be like scanning down points of interest. It'll be analysing anomalies and weird things. And it'll be going in a straight line for long periods of time.
Dodging bullets like
Oh,
fucking
beautiful.
Neo.
Well, thank you very much for the bits. Wumlang 57. 07. Is that an 07 or is that an 07? What do you think the likelihood of having a few small towns in other places around Hurston will be? Very high. I think there'll be other towns and landing zones on Hurston eventually. At the very least, there'll be shanty towns built from junk, because I've seen those modules. Those like bars and stuff they made previously, and like people that aren't living in Hurston have made their own little villages and things. Do I use voice stack? I haven't for ages, but I will use it again. I won't use it when I record, typically. We got a sneak peek at the new freelance variants. We did in the newsletter last week. It was hard to tell, but does it seem to you like their size was increased? I don't know. It would certainly be tweaked. And they certainly would have tweaked the all the stats and everything of those ships. How do Star Citizen break ships in the live build when they push the update? It worked. Using F does not work. They are pushing updates to live. I don't know what that means, dev code. But thank you for the question. Sorry. In your opinion, when will the first jump point be active? I think we'll see it at CitizenCon next year. That's my expectation of CitizenCon next year. I'm hoping to see alien biomes, potentially aliens, and creatures, and jump points. That's what I want. How's the ship, and probably some gameplay loops. They'll probably show off a couple of gameplay mechanics, and maybe a new planet. It depends what they want to do. I suspect we'll get a mixture next year of stuff that's really soon coming out, like this is going to be in your hands really soon, like within the next 3 months, and some stuff. Stuff's a bit further off, but these are how the mechanics are going to work. Look how cool it is. That's my expectation next year. How's the ship purchasing economy? Would it be a long grind to get from a starter ship to something better? Yes, at the moment, Eric, there is. They are going to have a ship rental store, Venture Rentals, which is going to be on Louisville and Hurston, in the spaceport there. So that will go a long way to alleviating that, because you can just rent a ship. But at the moment, there's starter ships, and then the next jump up to that is like at least 500,000 Alpha UEC, which is a reasonable grind. I say next jump up to that. I think that's actually for like a Mustang Alpha. So like getting something that's reasonably better is like at least 1 million Alpha UEC, which is like a Hornet or a Buccaneer. I think it's 1.1 mil, something like that. And then the Prospector and the Cutlass are 1.6 and 1.5 million. So that's a big grind. That's a big grind. What they need is an Avenger Titan, something like that, which would be a stepping stone ship, or a Reliant, or both, as stepping stone ships, so that you can actually start to make more money more easily. But the rental store will go a long way between that anyway. But I don't think the ships are too expensive. I just don't think they're supported correctly in the current release. How do you... we talked about that. When will CIG add underwater content? Don't know. The water at the moment, when it hits your head, it kills you. But you can wade in it. I was messing around with it today. They want to add underwater content. So, I don't know when though. How closely would you compare the freedom of Star Citizen to Eve? I mean, they're entirely different games other than they're in space. And I think Star Citizen needs to absorb all the good points of Eve when it comes to economy and the way they do stuff. But it's very mechanically different. Obviously, the FPS aspect is a defining feature of Star Citizen. But how relatable would you say the two truly are? They are space games with an economy that are huge on scale. Cargo running and the economy. Star Citizen needs to look at Eve, in my opinion. And customization of ships. It needs to look at Eve. It's sort of like the scale of Eve is mighty, isn't it? And the scale of the battles, but they're two very different monsters. Star Citizen, as you said, first-person shooter, effectively. First-person ship shooter. And Eve is very much third-person and clicky-clicky. Strategy, almost. But it's clicky-clicky. Do you think they're going to add sci-fi horror elements? Yes. They wanted to have xenomorph-esque, terrified alien isolation type events. So expect a wide range of spooky, scary missions. You seem to be at least marginally in contact with My Radar. Do you know if they'll be releasing Star Citizen content for the iPad or other tablets? I can ask them. I need to look at My Radar again because they're updating their systems with all the new moons locations for thingamajigs. There's been updates to the Star Citizen My Radar stuff. I need to look at it. And I like My Radar. I think they are good chaps. But I'll ask them some questions. Blake, can you message me anything in particular? Not Blake. Christoph. Can you message me, however, just on Twitch or whatever, and I'll ask them any questions you want. Will there be ways in and out of shape increase stamina? For example, like working out prosthetic limbs? No, I don't think there's going to be any sort of like working out to give you better stats or anything. It's not stats-based game. There might be augmentations to armor. There are going to be prosthetic limbs. I'm not sure if they're going to give you any bonuses or negatives, but they're more to show your character being aging and getting weathered and dying more. When are we likely to be able to take off helmets and ships? I do in some of my ships anyway. Star Citizen pushes an update with version X. I would play the game and the Mustang ship operates fine. After a few days, pressing F does not show the orange highlight to open the door. It's just going to be based on your patch. Sometimes they bug out. What it is, it will be an update that's caused bugs or whatever. How will CIG handle in atmosphere ship ejection? We don't 100% know. There will be ways to survive it, though, with either parachutes or jump jets or something. What do you think about the Aegis Eclipse going into future patches, new flight model? I don't know. I'll see when it's in the new flight model.
Tricksy little hobbit sis.
I caught him on live.
Oh, Matachi, I love your face. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love, especially from a content creator such as yourself. Matachi, great streamer. Has the Space Bros. Good name. Love your face. Feel free to link your channel as well, Matachi, mate. You're probably a VIP or a mod or something here. You're a VIP. I made you a VIP. I remember doing it yesterday. Yeah, bam. Hopefully it won't like ban you or anything. What's your opinion on the Carrack and when do you think it will be at least hangar ready? I don't know. I don't know, Mr. Pinks. I suspect we'll see some more about the Carrack in the anniversary though. So I wanted to show. I did VIP you, yes. I VIP'd a few people. I was like, well, it's my fault. I don't really stay in contact with you, Matachi, because I'm relatively busy, and then I'm really quite sporadic when I'm not busy, and I sort of like forget everything. So I will get in contact with you again. We should play and chat, like do some streaming or podcasting or something at some point, because obviously we did stuff a while ago, but I don't really see anyone anymore because a bit of a derp. I'll start to be more active in the community again. I apologise for not being so. So that us. have a quick look see at a couple of things. So got that from the chairman. It's going to blast through the news, and I'm going to go and eat. So basically, Star Citizen's made over 200 million now.
Tricksy little hobbit
a lot of moolah. It's not even a drop in the ocean, in my opinion, of what they're going to make when Star Citizen becomes more mainstream and when they release Squadron 42 Episode 1. So people are like, oh my god, they made so much money. Well, they're spending that money on employees. And they've got 500 employees now. So bear that in mind. The money's going into the game. And you haven't given them 200 million either. So a lot of people suggest that they've given them 200 million themselves personally, which is not what has happened. But basically, Chris gave a letter out saying, thanks for the money, guys. Star Citizen is awesome. Appreciated. That's basically what it said. Nothing really more than that. What else we got? We've got the anniversary sale. Bam. Starting Friday. Black Friday as well. The Anvil Arrow is going to go on sale. I suspect there's also going to be an in-game event around Louisville where they'll probably show off all the ships or something like that. That's what the Idris is hanging around. It's going to be called the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Boom. What do we see? We'll have to look at Sandy's character in a second. Some plants. They're lovely. That's in the 600i touring module. Boom. That's Sandy's character. Pusher fell. Pusher. This is Sandy's character. It's cool. I like the fact that she shaved her head in the game because she didn't have to do it in real life because they can do quite cool stuff with their game models by scanning people's faces in. I think it's cool. And she's supposed to be sort of like quite headstrong and I think combative with your character. Oh, I want to share this as well. So this is Alexander Belov. Oh, Belov. I think this is Narian. That's why I got confused between Sandy's character's name and this dude. So he makes amazing videos and very, very good, pretty things. But he did a video comparing the changes between 3.3 and 3.2. And I suspect he'll have some amazing ones of 3.3 and 3.35 and 3.2 and 3.35. Because we can see all like the lighting changes and the model changes and the atmosphere changes. Stuff looks brighter. The lighting is very different from 3.2 to 3.3. It looks great. But I love that. That's the plants again. 3.3 has gone live. We know that. 3.3.5F is currently out. I need more patches. Did anything come out while I was otherwise occupied? No, we're still on F. Perfect. The best 3.35 patch, in my opinion. It's actually not shit. We've got some legs for subscribers. Almost finished the suit. Well, we've got the torso and the gloves next. Boom. Then we're done. Don't know why I've got the ship matrix open. I suppose just in case people wanted to ask something about ships. Got the roadmap. Got that. Boom. Pretty much it. Any other questions before I pop off for foodie foods? Yes, I'm looking forward to the free flight as well. Should be, I think every ship will be flyable. Every day was going to be a different set of ships based on the manufacturer, starting with Anvil. And I suspect that the Saber Raven and the Mustang Omega are going to be the only ships that are flyable that aren't going to be accessible. But yes, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the love. I love you all. Thank you very much for joining me at the end, Matachi, as well. As I said, I'll poke you later and we'll... I don't know what I'm going to eat. I'm going to have a look around. I've got some salmon and some steak in the fridge. Is there any new information on the medical system? Not really. Hasn't been for a while. The last stuff was... well, they've talked briefly about you're going to be spawning at the... I think it's the New Hope Hospital, whatever it's called. Whatever the hospital was called on Hurston at some point. When they open it up. And they haven't really talked anything about since the Apollo, which is there's 3 tiers of injury. There's the more minor ones, and there's multiple damaged limbs, and then there's near death. and the tier 1 near-death stuff requires tier 1 facilities, which you can have on the Apollo or in the Endeavour. Are they also unlocking CCUs for the sail or just ships? CCUs for most of the ships, I would expect, yes. Maybe not for the limited hull ships. So if they do something like Krakens, unlikely you'll be able to CCU from another ship to a Kraken. When do you think we can make our own bases? They wanted it in by the end of this year, but obviously that's changed now. They want, well, say end of this year. They wanted land claims in by the end of this year, which is obviously changed now. And that was going to have some mechanics of owning land. So we'll see that first, and then they'll probably talk more about bases and when they see that fitting. But yeah, I think 3.35 F for 3.35 live for this Friday. It looks like that's the plan. No worries. Thanks for the love. Appreciate it. Let's go see who is streaming. Some Star Citizens and give them some love as well. Bam. Star Citizen. We will give Super Matt Brothers some love. Boom. But thanks very much for watching, guys. Will there be dynamic events like Vandal Invasion to a system or something like that? I believe that's the intention, yes. They want to have those more dynamic encounters. But they expect stuff to change every so often where they're like, oh, Vandal have come into this system. There's new missions here. The Vandal are attacking a system for like a month or whatever. So yeah, I'm expecting very much to have dynamic events that happen like that because, well, why wouldn't they do that? There you go, guys. Give CMAT Brothers some love, and I will see you in the verse. And kisses and stuff. Oh no, we're not going to see Super Mario Brothers. Looks like we're going to go see HC. Oh god, oh god. Right, let's refresh this. Apologies. I'm gonna go Maya. I'm gonna go to Maya. I think Maya's just started streaming. Got a beautiful beard now. Boom. Give Maya some love. Oh, it's a false. I love you guys. You take care. I do stream just occasionally, just to talk. But there will be gameplay and love. Love. Take care, guys.